from thinking they had the competition in the bag,
Put my name on that trophy right now because it's mine.
to getting knocked down by their own arrogance.
Personally come over there and throw you out of here. You show no respect, and I'm not going to deal with it.
These are the most satisfying downfalls in Masterchef history, starting with Season 4's Howard Simpson, a contestant who thought he had the competition in the bag, but it didn't take long before reality caught up to him. He was 26, working as a bartender in San Diego, and he talked about his time serving in Afghanistan as proof that he had discipline and focus.
All we would do is talk about what we were going to do when we got home. What I want to do is to try to win this competition.
But rather than putting in the work, he often just walked around with the belief that he was better than the other contestants.
Difficulty because you can overcook it, and once you overcook it, it's inedible.
And in reality, he barely had a clue what he was doing.
You're melting the chocolate directly in the pan, coating it in bacon.
Yes, I am. Then baking a little bit of potatoes and seeing if it works out.
Holy crap, what's the dish?
Haven't figured it out yet. I'm working as I go, and hopefully it'll all come together.
During the Langoustine Challenge in episode 4, it started to become clear that he simply wasn't cut out for the competition. Earlier, he said another contestant would probably be the one going home, but once his dish hit the table, Gordon's first impression said it all.
Did you disappear into the library for half an hour?
No, I did not.
He came up with a spinach, mango, and grapefruit salad that barely highlighted the main ingredient, and the judges looked very disappointed by how little thought seemed to go into the dish.
I concentrated on my vinaigrette.
Hey, I can't see any vinaigrette. Graham, can you see any vinaigrette on there?
No, sir, I see no vinaigrette.
This is a joke.
I don't know what to say. You know I'm not a rabbit, and yet you serve me food that's fit for a rabbit hutch, and you expect me to get blown away. Well, I am blown away. I'm shocked. In fact, I'm not even going to eat it.
What made it seem worse was that Joe Bastianich had backed Howard since the beginning, but even he couldn't defend this one.
I told everyone how good you were.
Absolutely.
You're in a landslide.
Yep.
This is a waste of our time. At this point, if it were up to me, I'd throw you out. I put my ass on the line for you, and that's the you give me?
Howard managed to survive elimination that round, but his cockiness and bad cooking were far from over. When the Mystery Box Challenge in episode 6 ended and everyone's dishes were in, the judges revealed that someone had served raw fish. This was Howard's reaction.
Fish, I was like, did someone do like sashimi or something?
That only made things worse because Gordon quickly pointed out that the contestant in question was, in fact, Howard.
Howard, bring that dish up. Tasting it, you know immediately. It's raw.
Joe ended up throwing the dish in the trash, and the message was simple.
This kind of is what pisses us off, and these kind of dishes are what send you home.
By this point, the gap between how Howard saw himself and how he actually cooked was getting wider, and that gap finally caught up to him in an Aniolotti elimination challenge, where Lydia Bastianich gave a live demonstration. It was a moment designed to show technique, and most contestants tried to follow her lead closely. Instead of following the lesson, Howard went his own way, and the judges weren't sure what to expect, but stayed patient to see if it could work.
Onion foods.
So what's the filling?
Shredded braised chicken, bell peppers, and a little bit of seasoning.
What do you think about putting bell peppers in the stuffing?
It's really unusual, yeah. I would taste that, pay attention, we talk a lot about textures and all of that.
I will do so.
As soon as Lydia Bastianich tried this dish, it was obvious Howard hadn't been paying attention.
Yeah, cumin is a spice that is not used a lot in pasta making or stuffing. Yeah, what I got here is a mouthful of peppers.
Okay.
It's not harmonious with a pasta dish like this.
The final straw came when Howard snapped back while Joe was criticizing the dish.
The fact that you're not even thinking of playing this game properly is really annoying. I mean, I'm going to taste this.
You want 15 of the same dishes up here?
Howard didn't back down and went on ignoring Joe's feedback.
Joe's just... This is a competition about flair, about finesse, about creativity, not about copying someone else's so you can win $250,000.
Gordon had to make it clear to Howard that turning a blind eye to expert advice was simply unwise.
Howard, you've got this ignorance that you wouldn't absorb the kind of magic this lady has spent nearly 6 decades creating.
When elimination came down to him and Lynn, the judges let them decide who would leave on their own with dignity. Howard finally showed some humility and chose to hand over his apron himself.
Lynn's one of the top guys here. He's a better cook than I am, and he shows it with his plates. I got here, and I got an apron, and I got to compete, and I feel amazing about it.
Thank you, Howard.
Thank you. My dreams about being in the culinary world are even more alive than they were before I got here.
Howard came in thinking he had it all, but people remembered him more for his attitude than his skills. He stayed in restaurant work until 2019, then changed paths and launched the car detailing business. Moving from the next guy who thought he had it all figured out until reality checked him hard, the next person's story reminded everyone that a big personality and little grasp on technique rarely mix well. Jeff Philbin, who works as a marketing director in Tampa, impressed everyone at the audition and landed in the top 20 with plenty of confidence. He carried that confidence all the way, but it would eventually backfire. During episode 5 of the season, he started strong in the Mystery Box Challenge, landed in the top 3, and completely owned the moment.
Jeff, come down, please.
I'm the first name that's called up. Everyone needs to pay attention to Jeff. I'm in it to win it. This is a tribute to Tampa.
But in that same episode, a basic scrambled egg test tripped him up, and he couldn't impress the judges as expected.
It's terrible. Completely.
Severely underseasoned.
Without a doubt.
Severely undercooked.
Without a doubt.
Jeff, you're not safe.
No,
Stay here.
I'm definitely here.
Because his first attempt failed, he joined the others in a 10-minute redemption challenge to keep his spot. He made it through that round, but the next challenges revealed how he handled setbacks. Later in the season, he teamed up with Caitlin for a tag team challenge and spent most of the time complaining about her effort.
Took a leading role with this entire tag team challenge because Caitlin didn't bring a lot to the table. We might not have gotten the small details.
But back when they were in the middle of cooking, even Gordon noticed how overbearing Jeff was.
All the time?
Are you sure?
We don't need that right now.
Look at how controlling Jeff is.
When it was time to serve their dish to the judges, Caitlin wasn't happy with how it turned out, but Jeff insisted it was fine.
And
How would you rate this platter out of 10?
3 or a 4.
I beg to differ. I would have actually gone a little bit higher. I would have gone a 7 because everything is there.
And Gordon was quick to set Jeff straight about the dish.
Because everything's there, it doesn't mean that this is on a 7. Come on, guys. I am not going to accept that. Nowhere near it.
What should have been shared responsibility became proof that Jeff could not lead and could not follow either. During a later round, Jeff's opponent used an advantage to cut his time to 20 minutes, forcing him to work quickly on a salmon dish. When Kate was asked why she picked Jeff, her answer about him said it all.
Why 20 minutes to Jeff?
His attitude is poor, so I want to send him home.
Once again, Jeff's confidence was on full display when he talked about how easy the task would be for him, even with less time.
I'm one of the top chefs here. I know I can make a 20-minute dish like no other.
When it was time to serve the dish, Gordon was completely stunned by the result, but not in a good way.
It's raw. Are you trying to poison me?
Yet Jeff insisted that the undercooked fish was completely intentional, trying to sell it as part of his plan.
That's exactly what I want.
While the contestants waited for the judge's decision, Jeff kept clashing with others, and it was clear that everyone was fed up with him.
Should they make the $250,000 up to your therapist or to you?
I'm already insured.
Okay, I just want to make sure that that's covered.
My therapist is already paid for.
Okay.
Hey, Jeff did everything that I hoped he would. He created an awful dish and then tried to BS his way through it.
In the end, he was eliminated in a double ouster alongside Yachisha, closing out a run that had promised much more than it delivered. Comments online made it clear that viewers were more than relieved to see Jeff finally go. Some said, Jeff was just unteachable. How does Jeff's family keep up with him? I'm amazed he made it this far in the competition, for real. I don't like that Jeff always tries to defend himself instead of learning from the judges' constructive comments and improving. Jeff learned the hard way that ego isn't a recipe for success, and this next contestant was ready to prove that brains without restraint can be just as dangerous in the kitchen. Every season has that one cook who seems like they're playing a completely different game, and for season 3, that was 29-year-old musician Tali Clavijo from Chicago. Throughout the season, his main problem was that instead of sticking to the basics, he went all in on unusual combinations and over-the-top ideas, and it ended up costing him. That mindset showed up early with the risotto, where he overcomplicated overcomplicated the dish, and the judges clearly weren't having it.
Hazelnut and walnuts mixed with some tapioca maltodextrin. I wanted to give it a little bit of
You know what it is? It's garbage is what it is. What you did on that dish is inappropriate and ultimately kind of disgusting. Congratulations.
When Gordon came up to taste it, he couldn't even swallow.
The cranberries, the nuts, the gooseberries, already just unheard of in a risotto. That is a disaster.
You think Tali would take this as a lesson for the next rounds, but he didn't even flinch. Tali repeated the same mistake at episode 6's Mystery Box Challenge, making a complicated crab dish that totally disappointed the judges.
Jeez, looks like a horror movie. Can you see that?
Where's the crab?
Where's the whole,
Based on that performance, I'd start packing my knives if I was you.
Instead of taking the feedback to heart, Tali brushed it off, claiming the judges didn't understand what he was trying to do.
art behind the plate here. It's like mind-boggling. Honestly, I feel like my stuff is so good that they can't even see the potential.
During that round's elimination, he once again showed off that same cockiness, making it clear he hadn't learned from his mistakes.
You're more confused than anybody in this room right now because your food hasn't found its identity.
Before brilliance comes madness, chef.
Oh. Before brilliance comes madness.
He managed to survive that round and make it all the way to the top 10, yet he was the only Season 3 top 10 contestant who had still not won a single individual challenge. Tali faced the elimination test in episode 11, which featured Arctic char, a challenge that was supposed to be pretty straightforward. But as soon as the judges saw his dish while he was cooking, it was clear he was overcomplicating things just like always.
Again, with the sous vide, completely unnecessary. The Arctic char is certainly the easiest fish here today. You could steam it, grill it, saute it. It's always going to be buttery and perfect.
He's doing everything he can to take the flavor out of it. I mean, he's serving green lentils with it, bacon, mustard.
All those flavors are gonna obliterate it.
When it was time to present his dish, Joe Bastianich commented on Tali's knack for tossing around technical words, though it wasn't clear if it translated to results.
With things like sous vide, emulsify. No.
And just like the judges had suspected, his dish ended up falling short.
Is basically destroyed lentils, because I can see they're all exploded and overcooked. You have a bunch of herb scraps with no dressing on them. You got a piece of fatty, nasty looking bacon on top of some poorly conceived cooked Arctic char.
He's seasoned. It's just a mess.
Once again, he threw the judges' advice out the window and argued as if he knew better.
With understanding my flavors, maybe they're just a little too old school, and they can't see the beauty and the genius that is my food.
Not surprisingly, he landed in the bottom 3 with Christine Ha and David Martinez. In the end, Gordon decided Tali's run of underwhelming dishes had gone too far, and it was time for him to go. Tali seemed to have stepped away from the kitchen and is now pursuing ideas in storytelling. From creative misfires to confident sabotage, the next downfall had a little more teeth and a lot more drama. Christian Collins did not start his season as the villain, which is what made his fall so interesting to watch. He came in as a stay-at-home dad from Gloucester, Massachusetts, and talked about the challenging and troubled past he had lived through.
I kind of veered off of that, just being a teenager, just figuring out life, doing drugs, kind of hit rock bottom, wasn't around for my son. Gets to a point where you do wake up one day and realize that that wasn't the man that you wanted to be.
For him, cooking wasn't just a hobby anymore. It had become a way to build something better for his son, and early on, that story earned him support from everyone. He was clearly a strong cook, and after winning the first Mystery Box Challenge, it felt like he had real momentum going. But it didn't take long for Christian's tone to change. He started making fun of other contestants, and in episode 9 of the season, he was seen antagonizing Jennifer Bem.
It would be unbelievable to have somebody say, hey, your dish was the #1 out of all 13. It'd be great. I think people would take me a little more seriously than just talking about my boobs.
I told Jennifer, I think she's a bitch, and she's gonna get what she deserves. Thinks that she can cook better than me. I'll cook her onto the table any day of the week.
Things got even worse in that round when Christian's dish was named the worst, and his reaction was pure arrogance.
Christian! It wasn't cohesive. It wasn't properly thought through, and the whole sort of style of the dish was strange.
It didn't stop there. He even told the judges they were wrong and insisted someone else's dish was worse.
I think you're wrong. I don't think my dish is the worst dish here. Esther's dish looked pretty. Think what you want.
Well, you have the right to disagree, but we're telling you the way we see it, and we thought the dish sucked.
At that point, the other contestants had clearly had enough of his attitude, and most of them were turning against him.
Christian is acting like a little punk right now. His arrogance, it's stinking up this kitchen.
From here to here with zero filter.
But that was only the start, because Christian's attitude kept getting worse. During a lobster challenge, he was annoyed that he didn't make the top 3, while his rival, Jennifer, was the one who got called up.
To Jennifer.
I think Jennifer sucks, and it makes me feel like because I don't think she has as much food knowledge as I do.
Then, while the judges were praising Jennifer's dish, Christian pulled a move that was blatantly disrespectful.
It just has a really nice rustic taste.
Joe had finally had enough and didn't hesitate to call out Christian's attitude on the spot.
Hey, Christian, why don't you have the same respect for these people that they do for you? Put the silverware down and behave like you belong in this kitchen and show these people the same respect they show you. Because if not, I'm gonna personally come over there and throw you out of here. You show no respect, and I'm not gonna deal with it.
Despite his arrogance, Christian kept performing well. He won challenges and often showed he had the skills to back up his confidence. But one challenge would push tensions to the breaking point. In episode 18 of the season, Team Challenge paired him with his most hated rival, Susie, and they had to cook for the International Masterchef judges. But even before they started cooking, Christian was already complaining about Susie.
Things, and she doesn't move quick enough for my liking.
As the challenge went on, both of them struggled to communicate and work together.
Susie's not really doing much. She's making mushrooms. You don't want to pile up on each other? What happens with mushrooms is they release water. I'm trying to tell her, you can't pile all the mushrooms together in the pan, so of course they don't taste good.
During the judges' feedback, Christian's actions made it look like he was sabotaging Susie because the dish was primarily her idea.
Is everything all right? You look kind of pale.
You want me to be honest? I don't think it's complex enough. I think we should have used lobster.
What is he doing? Does Christian have to throw our own team under the bus?
You're wiping your hands of guilt?
No, I'm not wiping my hands. I'm just as embarrassed by the dish as you are.
The real turning point came in the semi-final. Christian got to choose the ingredients and, confident in his plan, took veal for himself while giving mushrooms to Jennifer, expecting her to struggle.
I'm thinking maybe Jennifer will fall short. So I picked the veal so she gets stuck with the mushrooms.
Brave.
But when the judges eventually tasted his dish, the comments weren't exactly great.
Mash, delicious. Vegetables, semi-boring. And I'm going to say the same to you, as I said to Adrian. That is not your best dish, Christian.
And when it came down to the final decision, the judges chose to send him home.
I'm shocked. I didn't think they were going to send me home. In retrospect, maybe I shouldn't have gave Jennifer the mushrooms.
Meanwhile, the same Jennifer he had looked down all season kept beating the odds and ultimately won the entire competition. Viewers were certainly pleased with Christian's elimination, with comments online reading, "The fact that Christian gave Jennifer the ingredients she grew up with is poetic justice for his character this season. I love how that jerk Christian said Jennifer would eat her words. The irony is delicious. At first, I was hoping he wouldn't leave early, but going right out at the end is a perfect punch to his face." If Christian's downfall served as a side of poetic justice, the next contestant's exit felt like the audience had been waiting for it forever. Not every downfall starts with loud arrogance, and in David Martinez's case, it began with a story people wanted to root for. His dish impressed the judges during the audition. He also shared the story that inspired him to make it.
Taught myself, honestly, I don't have the money to take my wife to the places that we'd like to go. Everybody should be able to eat food like this.
This means a lot to you.
People say leaves don't grow in the ghetto, man. Well, guess what? I'm a leaf and I grew in the ghetto and everybody else can do it too, man.
Because of that background, he came across as driven and disciplined, someone who earned every step forward. Early on, he held his own and had moments where his food impressed the judges.
This is definitely a Masterchef dish.
Oh my God.
But as the competition commenced, the pattern started to form. He would survive close calls while others went home. That earned him a nickname in the kitchen, 9 Lives.
Take your apron. upstairs the balcony. Good job with the tortellini.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, guys.
That little
Good job.
9 lives, man. Unbelievable.
It was clear that other contestants began to see him as lucky rather than skilled. One warning sign about his lack of skills came during a mystery box challenge featuring a pizza stone. Instead of making something grounded in technique, he decided on a lobster and potato soup that felt disconnected from the task. The result was so poorly received that Joe Bastianich threw it straight to the trash with visible frustration. Later in the season, he finally won a mystery box challenge and looked pretty sure of himself afterwards.
I think in the past few weeks, people have not given me the respect I deserve. I think people are starting to figure out that I am not the weakest player. I think right now is the moment that I show the rest of my competitors that I'm here to win this and that I am definitely someone they should look out for. David Martinez is not a joke.
Even the other contestants were worried that the win might make him insufferable.
I know today is going to be a huge boost to his ego, and we're all going to have to deal with that.
But almost immediately after, he slipped up as always, forgetting to grab the rice during the pantry run, even though he planned to make rice pudding.
You forgot your rice?
How did you forget the 90? It was in the process of me making sure that I had everything else. But you knew what you wanted to make. Right.
Becky Reams eventually stepped in and gave him the ingredient he needed. But at this point, it was already hard for anyone to take him seriously. Even the judges couldn't help but point out how much luck he seemed to be riding.
He's got 90 lives. Can you believe that?
Yeah. I wouldn't have done it.
No.
No, not at this stage. I won his 7th chance of winning this competition. You don't start giving out your ingredients. He's a lucky, lucky boy.
Barely getting by with his cooking was one thing, but David's arrogance made it a bigger problem. The situation really started to unravel during a food truck team challenge. David was put in charge of grilling burgers for a large crowd, which meant timing and accuracy mattered. But as orders piled up, David fell behind.
Have 1 burger ready.
We're gonna cause a riot out here.
David?
I got it.
He's like, I got it. No, David, you don't have it.
Then things got even worse when Gordon checked the burgers on the grill and realized they were still raw.
Burger.
No, we are gonna get into absolute pandemonium. That is raw. And there's children at 3, 4, 5 years of age out there. I'm gonna flip my lid.
And after David was confronted about it, this was his reply.
Yeah, I had a couple of raw burgers, but I'm cooking burgers faster than they could serve them. Give me a freaking break. Do I look like Superman to anybody?
That refusal to accept responsibility became a defining trait throughout.
I think it's your guys' refusal to say, we just didn't pump food out fast enough. It's unfair for anyone to say that I was the one that dropped the ball on this. I don't like fingers being pointed at me at all.
All of it led to a final pressure test against his rival, Josh Marks. The task was straightforward. Cook 3 filet mignon steaks to 3 exact temperatures: rare, medium rare, and well done. But when David's steaks were sliced open, it was clear he had completely missed the mark.
However, that is not a well done steak.
Gordon pointed out that failing to cook a primary protein correctly at that level was not something they could overlook. And with that, his run finally ended.
Look at me. You know, with great risk comes great reward.
At this point in time, viewers clearly had enough of David, and the comments online said it all. David smirked when he thought that Josh was leaving, and then to find out he's the one eliminated, David went home! Finally! I've been waiting for this moment that David will go home, but now, finally. While David's story was all about lucky breaks to toxic streaks, the next elimination was all about bad behavior catching up. Krissi Biasiello was introduced as a 34-year-old paralegal and single mother from Philadelphia, who initially presented herself as tough, authentic, and hardworking. However, she was quickly associated with a negative trait, as her attitude and hypocrisy in the competition led many to view her as the season's main antagonist.
Krissi, all right. A little bit of attitude here. A little sweetness here.
Krissi, you hypocritical bitch.
Honestly, it's war.
The bitch needs to go. I want to kick her ass so bad.
You could see that attitude again when another contestant, Bima, was eliminated. Everyone else looked upset by it, but Krissi was visibly glad.
I'm very happy with the results. Mission accomplished.
From that moment on, viewers really started disliking Krissi, and online comments left little doubt. One wrote, "Krissi lost my respect after this episode. How terrible of her to laugh when it was so emotional for a fellow competitor. Sad." Another said, "I actually hate Krissi so much. How could she laugh like that at a person who's trying to accomplish their dreams? I hate people who enjoy others' failures. I feel bad for her kid having to grow up with a mother like that." At this stage, Krissi came across as someone more focused on creating drama than on the food. The pattern continued continued during a beach team challenge when she clashed with Bree and even went so far as to threaten her physically.
Everything you better shut the up, really? What are you gonna do? Good. I hope you can't sit here and talk things out like an adult. All you ever want to do is hit everyone in the face.
1 minute.
Yet again, Krissi repeated her aggressive behavior while paired with Jesse Lysiak for a 3-course challenge, this time during a disagreement about making crepes.
I literally am going to take this hot pan and smash it in her face. I have got to get out of this kitchen right now, or I am seriously going to go to jail today.
As Krissi stepped away, Jessie ended up doing almost all the work herself, taking on both the prep and the cooking with no help. Gordon himself had to call out the pattern, noting how Krissi often left her teammates to handle everything when it really mattered.
Why do you always let other members in your team take over and then say nothing, but then throw them under the bus when it comes to taking responsibility?
Despite everything, Krissi remained cocky and seemed to think she still had the advantage over Jessie.
That I suggested, it was just like, no, I don't like that. Guess what, honey? You want to run the ship, you run the ship, and you can sink it. Because you know what? Tomorrow, I'm just going to whoop your ass in the pressure test.
That confidence was about to be her undoing in the competition. To make it to the final 3, she had to go head-to-head with Jessie. The theme of the pressure test was chocolate, and they had just 75 minutes to create 3 completely different desserts. When the challenge wrapped up, the judges made their final call. Jessie impressed with an almost flawless performance, but Krissi couldn't match her. Her souffle hadn't cooked properly, and her molten lava cake was still raw, which ultimately led to her elimination. As she left, Krissi claimed that she didn't regret a single thing throughout the competition.
I'm definitely proud of what I accomplished.
I think you found your voice.
Fans had a lot to say after she left, and a lot of them admitted that it was one of the most gratifying moments of the season. Krissi said she was going to whoop Jessie's ass in the pressure test like 500 times, and it was so satisfying to see her get eliminated in her beloved pressure test. Another said, Krissi's such a toxic person. She ruined this whole season, except for the finale, because thank Jesus she wasn't in it. Eventually, Krissi's streak of chaos had come to an end, and it was clear that her departure was one people weren't too sad about.